HarperCollins and Harper Audio present Elementals, Battleborn by Amie Kaufman. Performed by Johnathan Mcclain. Chapter 1. Coming to Cloudhaven had been a good idea. Anders and his friends were sitting together just inside the entrance hall of the dragon's ancient stronghold, wolves and dragons all in human form. Somehow, impossibly, they were safe. At least for now. None of them had spoken much since the Battle of Holbard. They'd just trekked out of town, rested for as short a time as possible, and then flown here to hide. Dragons exhausted and wolves shaken. Most of Holbard had been destroyed today. The city left in ruins by the clash of the snowstone and the sun scepter. There had been injuries on all sides. Everyone was hurt and everyone was afraid, and Anders knew the only way out was to convince all his friends to work together, to stop the fighting once and for all. He also knew that the longer he let the silence draw out, the harder it would be to break it. So, when his voice interrupted the quiet, the others blinked and looked up. Anders had hoped he would know what to say once he had their attention, but now they were all staring at him, and the words came no more easily. "We need to figure out what to do next," he said awkwardly. "We need to get all the way inside Cloudhaven," Aluka said immediately, leaning forward. "We're not safe out here in the entrance hall. We're too exposed. I don't know how they get up here, but the wolves will be hunting us. They think we attacked the city." "You did attack the city," Victoria pointed out stiffly. "We all saw you fly in with that thing. It put huge cracks in the ground. There was lava." "That was the sun scepter," Reyna shot back immediately. "And we needed it because the wolves were using the snowstone to cool all of Valen and attack the dragons. Your snowstone caused at least as much damage with its ice." "Speaking of dragons," said Theo, "the dragon meat might think the same as the wolves, that we were trying to attack the city. But when we don't come back to Drekhelm, they're going to come looking for us. They're not going to be happy once they realize we're not on their side." "Then whose side are you on?" Zacharias asked quickly. "Are you with the wolves?" "We're not on anyone's side," Anders said, raising his voice a little to be heard over the wave of muttering going around the circle. We're on everyone's side. We don't want to help the wolves or the dragons attack each other, and we have to stick together. We only have each other now." 7 wolves sat on one side of the circle, 4 dragons on the other, plus Kess, the black cat, of course, who was currently in Reyna's lap, batting at the ends of her hair with one playful paw. Of all of them, only Kess seemed to have no worries. It was night, and their faces were dimly lit by the row of runes that circled the big room just below the domed stone ceiling. The runes were carved into the rock itself, and they glowed a gentle turquoise. Anders ran his gaze around the group, letting it rest on each of them for a moment in turn. Reyna was leaning against her friend Aluka, her head resting on the bigger blonde girl's broad shoulder. Aluka had months of experience flying, but Reyna had only transformed for the first time a few weeks before, and she was exhausted by the distance she'd covered today, and all the days before, as they'd hunted for the pieces of the sun scepter. Anders saw Aluka swallow hard. The last they had seen of her father, Valerius, he had been badly injured. The Drekleid, Leif, had been helping him struggle back toward Drekhelm. There was no way of knowing if they'd made it. Along the wall from the 2 girls sat Theo and Mcclain. Mcclain was running one hand through his copper hair, studying the wolves thoughtfully. Restless as ever, Theo was pulling open their bags as the silence drew out. He began to unpack them, taking stock of what supplies they had. The dragons had managed to grab a few things before they'd left Drekhelm. The wolves hadn't even been expecting the battle, let alone that they would have to flee from it, and they had nothing. Next, Anders' attention shifted around to the wolves. Anders' old roommates, Victoria and Zacharias, sat together. Det, Mateo, and Jai sat farther along, quiet and a little wary. For once, none of them had an easy joke to offer. Only Lizabeth.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?